The journey to the top for my guest today on Top Job, Abel Munda, the Managing Director of Liberty Life, has been nothing short of extraordinary. From working in the US to diligently moving through the ranks in the insurance sector and coming back to Africa to become the top of his field at Liberty Life, Abel's story is proof that in order to be successful, one must have a plan, a vision, and a goal that is set and time-bound. I sit down today with Abel to find out what exactly does it mean to work in such a challenging and competitive industry such as insurance. How do you manage a team of over 150 people? And more importantly, are there any intrinsic values that you need to be a leader at the top of your game? Excellent. I'm joined today on the 8th floor of Liberty House with Abel Munda, the Abel Managing Director of Liberty Life. Thank you so much for having us, sir.
Thank you, Menesi.
Asante sana. It's good to be here. In fact, we were just talking earlier about the view from up here, which is spectacular. Up here, you can see the park and you can see the lights of the city. Is this something that you envisioned for yourself when you were young, in primary school?
Well, first of all, let me say the view is quite good. Ordinarily, during the day, I don't really notice it, but when I work late into the night, the city is quite panoramic with the lights and all that.
Yeah.
And actually, you can even see the planes landing. So we are at a good spot as Liberty.
It gives you nice motivation
Yeah.
to carry the day forward.
Yeah.
Did you see this for yourself when you were young?
Not really. I do come from a very humble background. So, my parents were basically peasants. So I actually did see myself, seriously.
Peasants, being peasant is relative. For you, peasant might mean, we only had 2 cars or...
No, not really. My parents lived, somewhere in the village in Western Kenya. So I did a bit of my schooling there, but also did some of my schooling in Nairobi. I came up here to live with my sister, firstborn sister, who had just come back from studying abroad, and I was, quite young. So she was the firstborn. I was the lastborn.
Of how many?
Of 7.
Oh wow!
So so I went to school there, and I started my nursery school in that area. Then I think I went up to class 3, then transitioned to Nairobi, where I lived with my sister and went to Kongoni Primary School in South Sea, and that is where I did my certificate. And after that, went back, to the village secondary schools and finished at Homa Bay High School.
Okay.
That's where I did my A levels. At that point, I did have some brothers of mine in the US. They had managed somehow to get to the US. Not that we were well endowed, but I think something, my dad was quite a religious person, and I believe that there is obviously, there were some blessings, so obviously, some divine intervention. Yeah. Otherwise, I don't think this would have been possible.
Very true.
Yeah, so I had, a couple of brothers there, and then they invited me to go over, and I was able to get through the US Embassy and to go over there, because it wasn't actually quite easy. You needed a lot of financial support. And
what year was that? Because even now, most people will tell you it's very difficult to go to the US.
Yeah, that was actually in 1982.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think around May, that's when I got my visa, and in June, then I flew off to the
And
States.
did you know what you were going to go to do in the US?
Yes, I actually did know what I was going to do. When I was in Form 4 with Nessie, I had some really good inspiration from my accounting teacher, who was actually a Ugandan. From that time, my career aspiration had been really shaped, because I thought this accounting thing was interesting, debit and credits, and people talk about, it being very much mathematical, and you find people actually fearing it, but really not. I think accounting is something, it's a very, I won't say an easy subject. You really have to like it, but at the end of the day, if you like it, you'll find it quite manageable. I have to say that. And so I went on and studied it, even at the university, managed then to even qualify as a CPA.
So this is now before or after you went to the US? Because you now, when you went to the US, it was after high school.
Yes, after high school.
Yes.
So definitely this is much after. When I
Yes.
qualified, it was much after. So I had to obviously finish my first degree. And then after finishing my first degree is when I started now to do the
Where did you do your first
accounting
degree?
exam. At a university called Cheney University in the US, in Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania.
Yeah. And then I also went on to my graduate studies at Widener University, also in Pennsylvania. And then thereafter I started to do my accounting course, and I qualified in 1991. Yeah, and that was also quite a memorable experience because I took quite a short time to finish. Everything.
There was no, let me do it and then I wait for a year. Let me do it and then I wait for a year, like that. Trying to give yourself a bit of a break.
No, it is quite. It takes quite some studying, and there are things you want to do at once if you can.
Yes.
Yeah. Study hard, go deal it, and finish with it.
Where were you drawing your inspiration during that time? Because, like I said, it's very difficult to be distracted when you start. Obviously, you have to survive, so you're doing maybe a few odd jobs here and there. And
Yeah.
once you start to taste money and you realize
Yeah.
what money can do,
Yeah.
then you say, this degree.
And that is the folly of it all, because
we'll
I can
do
tell
it
you,
later.
I can tell you that happens to so many people,
Yes.
particularly if you are paying for your courses.
Yes.
One thing I didn't mention is that because of the good grades that I had, particularly in my ordinary level exams, I was able to secure a scholarship.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so it was a partial scholarship, and I needed to maintain certain grades. In fact, B average or better in order to retain or keep the scholarship going. Otherwise, they would withdraw.
And
it.
that gives you something, huh? Because
Obviously
now
that gave me, some motivation, obviously, to keep working hard, because I knew if I didn't, then I would lose it.
Yes. And that is your ticket.
Yeah, and that was my ticket. But then still, I had to do some jobs here and there to keep going, because I needed to pay for my residence hall. I didn't. That wasn't part of the scholarship, and so I had to do some hours in the evening. Office cleaning here and there, and these things, by the way, they also give you good experience. They give you good discipline and good experience, because I don't believe really any job is a bad job. It just depends on what you want as a person in life. Okay, so I would make a little bit of money to pay for the residence halls. And yeah, that was for about 3.5 years that I had to do that. Then I moved on to employment. And
in the US?
Yeah, I started working in the US.
Okay.
And again, in the accounts department. So things just seem to work out.
Well.
And sometimes, what I say, Munisi, is that sometimes what I say is that I'm actually drawing the dividends from my father's prayers, if I can put it that way, because for myself, I don't think I've prayed enough. I think I need to pray a lot more. But my dad was a very religious person. My mother also very religious. And I think when you look at how our family has come up, obviously there are a lot of blessings that we've been able to, to get from that. But as things just panned out, I mean, when I look back, obviously the way that my career has progressed, and I can only be thankful to God. I did secure employment as a junior accounnt. So that is
in which sector?
In insurance, in life insurance. Yeah. In fact, I'll bring it home. You'll see how things have just panned out. So I worked there. For a number of years, and during that time I was able to get some promotion, and honestly it was because of just the hard work. And I think again, the advice I always want to give people is when you are entrusted with certain responsibilities, you must do them as though they are your own. Don't do it as though you're doing it for somebody else.
Someone else's
job.
this is someone else's company. This is someone else's problem.
Otherwise, you won't hack it. You'll never get any promotion, because people see you. People see your behavior, your body language, your reaction, and so I always encourage guys, even here within Liberty Life, that be the CEO of your own small business unit. Don't expect me to come to tell you what to do.
I like that.
Yeah, you must always be conscious of what you have been given to do and do it to the best of your ability, not because you're doing it for somebody else, but because you're doing it as though really your life depended on it, which to a large extent it does. But to me, I took it. I honestly, I relished that opportunity, and I took it on and managed to complete within time. And I got actually some good accolades from my boss and even my boss's boss, because this was actually a reputational risk for the organization. And having finished that, it didn't take, I think it took something like 8 months. Then I got what I consider a breakthrough.
In fact, I want to pause there as we take a break of our own. When we come back with Abel Munda, I would like to discuss leadership and the breakthrough and how you're able to stay grounded and focused when you're chasing your dreams when we come back. But for now, here is today's top tip.
Time to get real work done wanes. Here are 5 ways to use slow days in a more strategic way because they don't come too often. 1. Track accomplishments. Take inventory of your accomplishments. First, it makes performance reviews much easier to prepare for, but more importantly, this list is invaluable when a position opens up in your company that you want or a promotion becomes available. Always be ready. 2. Dream. Spend an hour thinking about how you wish things were, new product ideas, what work could be like without barriers. Daydreaming excites the mind and provides opportunities to visualize the things you want to accomplish at work. 3. Succession planning. A succession plan ensures that if you evaporated into air, your organization would have a written record of how you do what you do. If this document doesn't exist yet, create it. It'll make your life easier when you leave your job and your boss will love you for it. 4. Help out. Find out if there is a department in an all-hands-on-deck phase. This is a great opportunity for you to learn about other parts of the organization or gain some new skills. 5. Read up. If you just have a short time to kill, focus on your professional development. Read articles on leadership, networking, marketing, anything that you'd like to know more about. Get the latest on sector trends. By staying informed and learning more, you're increasing your value as an employee.
We're back with Abel Munda, who, honestly, you have given me so much inspiration in that short space of time. I nearly wanted to go into your office and say, okay, you know what, let's forget about this interview. Let's go and you show me the ropes of this thing called leadership. But maybe now for our audience, you can tell us a little bit about the breakthrough that you got, because I believe that, I don't know, and it's just me, leadership is something that you either have or you don't. And would you say that's the case as you tell us about the breakthrough that you got?
The breakthrough that I was referring to came about when I was offered a job to go and become the regional financial controller for Alico West Africa. The company was called Alico then.
Okay.
Yeah. So
West Africa.
West Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the opposite side of Kenya.
Yes, the opposite side of Kenya. But again, I was at that time I was 28.
So you had been working now for about a good 5 years in the US? Or
No, more. That was now the 7th year that I was actually offered the job.
I see.
So that's now when the breakthrough came. So I went to Alico West Africa. Was based in Douala, Cameroon, but responsible for the region, which included basically Ivory Coast, Senegal, and Cameroon. There was Liberia there, but Liberia was at war, so there wasn't much happening there. But it gave me some really good experience. So I was there for just close to 2 years. Then, lo and behold, an opportunity opened up here in Alico, Kenya at that time. And they called me up, the vice president for the region at that time. They called me up and asked me if I would be interested in the job. And I said, sure. Why not? And I think the reason why things happen that way is obviously people look at the quality of your work.
Of course.
Because why would somebody pick a call? Why would they pick a phone and talk to you and try to interest you in a job? Why? Because obviously they've seen the quality of your work. Otherwise, I don't even think they would bother. So that happened, and in 1994, exactly, it was June 11th, 1994, I came back into the country to take up a job here as now the regional financial controller for Africa, because now I was still responsible for West Africa and Kenya as well.
I'm listening to you, and especially for young people now, that diligence to work properly for one entity for 7 years, and then take another opportunity in the same industry and continue like that. These days we want press a button,
immediate gratification.
Immediate gratification.
Yes.
And perhaps maybe in those days, the late 80s and the early 90s, there was no, maybe technology was not as developed to the point where you could get immediate responses and actions, and the internet was still coming up. How different would you say it was then to be able to stick in a job for that long in your 20s?
But I think, Mwenesi, you need to be patient. And even now, I think patience remains a virtue that somebody needs to have. Yeah, regardless. You need to be patient. But then you need to assess where you are as a person and work diligently towards where you want to be. So if it is a question of preparing yourself, let's say academically, whether it is professional qualification, you need to, they always say that, luck is where preparedness meets opportunity.
Beautiful.
That's where you strike.
Yeah. I love that quote.
That's where you strike luck.
Yeah.
So if an opportunity comes and you are not prepared, then obviously it will pass you by. So you need to be ready. And so whatever you're doing, as a job, don't just do it and not think of anything else. You need to think of your qualifications. You need to think how you can advance yourself in that career. And this worked quite well for me, because as I was at my job, I was constantly doing exams, for example, to qualify as a life insurance specialist.
So you were adding a few other value, adding bits and pieces, qualifications.
Exactly, because that is how you differentiate yourself. I always tell my kids, you know what? Everybody is going to graduate. Everybody is going to have this. Everybody is going to. So what makes you different?
And you had this in the back of your mind the whole time as you were working?
I did, and actually, if you look at my career progression, first of all, every 2 years I got a promotion.
Wow.
Yeah, so from junior accountant to senior accountant to regional financial controller Africa, to then manager finance and administration. Now the story comes home now, because in
June 11th, 1994.
June 11th, 1994. So I worked all my way up to 2004 when the company was acquired by CFC Bank. So things then went, and fast forward to 2006. Then I then offered a job to go and become the finance director at CFC Bank. Now CFC Bank had bought Alico, had been actually a holding company for Heritage. So it was the consolidating company, and CFC Bank actually was quoted at the Nairobi Securities Exchange. So I became the finance director at CFC Bank for about 2.5 years. And then I got another job offer to come here to Liberty Life and become the managing director. Yeah, but what I've seen, if I can call it a unique set of circumstances, is that largely each and every job I've always been offered, each and every higher job I've gotten along my career path, I've actually been invited. I've actually been offered. So now, it doesn't happen.
It wasn't you writing, applying, sending your CV, tarmacking, as they call it.
My first job, I tarmacked.
Yes.
I sent the CV, I went for the interview, all that. But since that time, honestly, I've asked, of course, I've asked for opportunities there and there. Is there an opportunity? Yes, is there an opportunity? Then, of course, I'm told no, but we'll let you know at the right time. But when the right time did come, I just got an invite. It wasn't. Yeah, this is open. Can you come for an interview? Whatever. I think people had assessed my competency. They had seen that this guy can do the job, so we're going to offer the job for him.
Fantastic.
We are confident he'll go. He's got. And honestly, I have never disappointed.
And Abel, I want to find. You're sounding so. You make it look so easy. And in the process, one can assume that you're just a career guy with no focus on anything else like family or whatever. In all of this time, how are you living? Are you engaging with someone? Are you meeting someone? Are you getting married? Are you having a family? Because it would almost look like the job.
Yeah. By the way, yeah. So you would almost think like I'm married just to my job. Yes. No, I do have a life outside. I do have a family. So actually, when I returned in 1994, I met a young, beautiful lady, called Priscilla, and after about 7 months, I proposed. Actually, I was ready to get married, so I just I proposed. And
how old were you at that point?
I was 31. Yeah, 19. Yeah, I was 31. So of course, my parents were like, "You're getting too old. You need to get married." It's not
of course.
Yeah, particularly my mother. So when is it going to happen?
Yeah.
My dad was never very pushy. He said like, it will happen when it happens.
Yeah.
It's mentioned that it was Yakubu Gowon who was the president of Nigeria at some point, and he advised Nigerians that if you haven't made it by the time you are 45, you might as well forget about it. Now, that can have a lot of meaning. Whichever way you want to interpret it. But essentially what I was trying to say that by the time you are 45 and above, a lot of the responsibilities start to come. And even your body, you start to now be on the other side of the hill.
Yes.
So things change. So you need to work hard in your 20s and your 30s and the 5 year in your 40s. So that when things now change, you are on the other side, you don't find things so difficult. Because once you are on the other side, you may become desperate if you are not well prepared.
Abel, as we close, you're someone who is always value adding, planning, thinking about the exponential next step. Is there something that you could have done differently when you look back at this incredible life and career that you have and even going forward? Is there something that you could have done differently, do you think?
Yeah, I've been asked that question before, honestly, Munesi, but I always find it hard to answer because things have worked out, I have to say.
Pretty well. Huh?
Yeah, things have worked out quite okay.
Yes.
I can only be grateful to God, honestly.
Amen.
And looking back, honestly, I don't think I would change much. I know there were certain situations long in the past, and sometimes I chat with my wife and she tells me, but look at how you've turned out. You've turned out okay, so why are you worried about all those things in the past?
The past is the past.
The past is the past. But, there was a time, being the youngest in the family, and this I think happens to so many people.
Sure.
So being the youngest in the family, you get a lot more influenced by your brothers and sisters, your siblings, sometimes even more than your parents. So your sister would say, "Oh, I want him here. I want him to go to that school. Oh, but I want him to go here. I want him to go there." So the decision sometimes is never yours, never your parents. And like I mentioned, that my parents were just mere peasants. So they didn't know any better in those kind of situations, and so I had to deal with my siblings a lot. But what this taught me, and particularly when I did live with my sisters, is that it taught me another side, gave me another side another experience, of life. I think sometimes it's also important to live away from your parents. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's very important because it just gives you another angle altogether about life. As you grow, you need varied experience. It just prepares you to become a better person in future. One of the things that I do is to set an example, and in whatever responsibilities that I have, and to be fair, it's very important. Huh? And when your staff see that there is fairness in the process, there is fairness in whatever you do, honestly, people feel very inspired and loyal to the organization. What feedback we get, like sometimes I get feedback even for staff who have left, and I'm always very happy if a staff leaves on promotion, they're going elsewhere. Nobody says you have to stay with one organization forever, no. Yes. But if you've been identified, okay, because of the value that we have added to you as Liberty Life, I'm proud of that. So we train our people, and that is one of our key strengths as a company. And we always profess to train at least each of the employees 40 hours a year.
Oh, wow.
Okay, no less than 40 hours. And I know organizations see value in that and they come poaching. But for me, if they poach you and you go to a higher job, okay, I take pride in that because we have developed you as a person and positioned you well to take on higher responsibilities as you go on with your life. Maybe in future our paths may cross again, I don't know. But it is important that you develop the people, you inspire the people, you let the people unleash their potential by empowering them to deliver. Once I give you what you have, because let me tell you, everybody is smart and we have some very smart people here. So don't assume that they don't know. Give them what they need to deliver and let them deliver it. You don't have to go over the shoulders trying to see what are they doing. No. I just want you to deliver. And they never fail. They never fail us. And I think that is, as an organization, we pride ourselves in that, and it is the way of the future. Empower the guys to deliver.
Well, if this was anything to go by, you have certainly empowered many, many people on our show. Abel, asante sana.
Asante sana.
Thank you so very much. That was very, very worthwhile, and I wish you all the very best in your career. I'm sure you want to take a very well-deserved holiday break.
Yes.
I'll leave you to it. Thank you so much for an exceptional interview.
Yes, hata mimi nimeshukuru sana mweneshi.
Asante
sana.
Karibu.
Yes, and also wish you good holidays.
Thank you, sir.
And a great new year, 2019.
Excellent.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for watching Abel Munda. That was me, Munesi Musalia, on Top Job. Well, there you have it, guys. Grow your personal brand diligently, and remember that luck is where preparedness meets opportunity. Thank you so much for watching today's episode of Top Job with me, Munesi Musalia, and remember, it's all about power moves only.